Hi and welcome to a video about branding and especially about Google's way of branding themselves these days. I want to talk about why I think Google is killing their brand value. My name is Chris, thank you for watching. So the reason for this is sort of you might have noticed that if you use YouTube like I do, they changed something about the commenting system these last few days, and what they did is that now if you have to comment on a video, you have to be signed into Google+. So you actually have to have a Google+ account to use YouTube and to comment on YouTube and do all these great things that we could do early on just without any Google+ account. So a lot of people are very angry about this, and in my own opinion, well, I sort of I think it's sort of a logical next move for Google in what they're trying to do, but I get that there's a lot of people angry about this, and this is where the killing of the brand value comes in, because Google seemed to act out of their own goals and just making a lot of money. And I understand that a lot of companies do this, but in this case I really think it's bad for the brand value. People get angry, people get pissed off, and following this trend, Google won't have any brand value left in a few years. So the reason for Google doing this is that they have tried for years to get people to use Google+. They invested millions and millions of dollars in creating their own social network and trying to compete with Facebook, and they primarily do this to get information about the users, information about you, because this is what Google does. They collect information about people so they can target the advertising better towards you, the user. If you're using Google, if you're using YouTube, any of the products, the way that Google makes the money is on advertising, and we all know that the better you know your target audience, the easier it is to advertise to them. And when people use social networks like Google+ or Facebook, they tend to give a lot of information about themselves. So looking at Facebook for just a bit, they have sort of the same problem. They really have a brand value problem, and it showed up in when they went public about a year ago or so, that people they don't have any credibility in people's minds, so people really don't trust them, and people primarily use them because there are no better alternatives at the moment, or there are no real alternatives, even though there are. But in social networks, you tend to go where your friends and family are and what they're using. But it's not because people like Facebook very much, or people like Google+ very much, that they use it. In Google+, in the Google+ example, people are now forced to use it, and forcing your customers to do something that they really don't want to do is just bad for the brand value. Looking at another company that is really great at creating brand value, or at least was a few years back, is Apple. Apple has a lot of super fans out there, and you've probably noticed that when Apple put out a new product, people get up in the middle of the night to pre-order their products, pre-order their iPad, their iPhone, or standing in long queues in front of the Apple stores to get the first iPhone or so on. And this is brand value. These people are religious. These people fight for their brand and love their brand so much that people, wear merchandise with it or even get tattooed. And companies like Facebook or Google really don't have these kind of super fans, and I think this is the problem. People aren't lined up and sitting by their computers waiting for the next Facebook update. No, they do the opposite. They grieve, they hate it when Facebook does something new. Same with Google. And it's understandable that this is human nature, that people don't like change, but I think that doing these online products, you can still do something that will create these super fans that really love your products and love everything that you do. So for Google's in the case of Google, they are in my mind pretty much going for market share. If you look at what they're doing with Google Glass, smartphones, Android, the self-driving cars, and social networking, search, and so on, they have so many products out there that they are just they want to be everywhere, and they want to dominate this market and know everything there is to know about you and be the best at marketing or advertising to people, and these goals seem to overshadow everything else and crush the needs and the wants of their users. And this is why I think that this is a slippery slope for Google, because they are enormous right now and they make a lot of money, and they are, for many people, the Google is the internet, but we've seen before with Yahoo, Alta Vista, big great companies early on that crumbled and couldn't take the pressure because they lost their brand value, and some new company pushed them out of the way because they just had a better product, a better user-focused product sorry, and created better brand value. This was the way that Google started too, and this will happen again. I think this will happen both to Facebook and Google if they don't start thinking about their users and putting their users' needs first. I think this is the way to create something great in the world. Start putting something great out there, and then thinking about how you're gonna make some money. So this was it for now. I would really love to hear what you think about this. What do you think about Google forcing people to use the social media? Do you think that this will boost Google Plus and in the end win the battle against Facebook, or do you think that this will push Google's users out the door? Feel free to connect with me on Facebook and Twitter, or subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I put out new videos every Friday, and of course like the video if you really like it, and comment on it. I really love to hear your comments, but remember, you have to sign up for Google Plus to do this, so get on that. Don't be a stranger. See you later. Bye.